Howdy, gang. I'm back. Okay, I want to give you the latest. This I just found, and it goes right into play with the letter that I'm still getting plenty of responses for, and I thank you all for sharing it with your friends, your coworkers, because I'm getting a whole bunch of people that don't watch the channel or whatever still asking for it, emailing me and asking for the letter, and I'm more than happy to send it to everybody, you know. So then, of course, I mentioned to you guys what OSHA came out and said the other day and dropped you the link for that. Well, a lot of you have asked if this affects students. And I came across this morning. Apparently this has been out for nearly a month. And of course, nobody ever made any mention of it. And we just found out about it today. But the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons has written an open letter to universities saying allow students back without a COVID vaccine mandate. Okay, and I'm going to link this in the description. Again, right below the video, there will be the link there so you can go read this entire letter. Something else for if you're a college student to take, or if you have a student, for them to present to their college and go, look, here's the deal, all right? And maybe somehow some of these kids get waivers to go to school. But I'll just read the first paragraph to you. On behalf of the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons, I am writing to ask you to reconsider your new policy mandating COVID-19 vaccination of students prior to returning to campus. Institutions of higher learning are divided on this issue. Although at first glance the policy may seem prudent, it coerces students into bearing unneeded and unknown risk and is at heart contrary to the bedrock medical principle of informed consent. Okay? Now, here we've got doctors saying this. Y'all know we've got lawyers saying this. We've got OSHA saying this. Eventually, if we keep pushing on employers, universities, preschools, whatever, the school board or whatever, and say, look, the lawyers are telling you it's against international law. The doctors are saying this isn't prudent. Who the hell are you as some school board administrator to tell me that you know A, medicine, and B, the law? Okay. So, definitely use this. This is something to, again, share with coworkers, friends, neighbors, your kids' kids, whoever. Okay, get out in front of them. Now, that isn't the only thing that I want to come up and talk about a little bit today. And this is kind of interesting. This came out today. The Japanese Red Cross is refusing blood donations from people who have taken the jab. Figure this one out. Now, I'll link this article in as well so you guys can take a look at this. But apparently Japan went through a huge scandal back in the 80s where they were still taking blood donations from people that were HIV positive. And of course, we all know that didn't turn out well. Okay. But this was the interesting part that when I was reading this, all right? 2% of the Japanese population has taken any sort of the jab. Now, about the United States, it's about 35. 2. Now, what that would tell me is the Japanese politicians aren't getting their palms greased. That would tell me that the Japanese media isn't shoving it down the population's throat, and that the Japanese equivalent of Hollywood is not going, look at me, I got my shot, you need to go get it too. Okay, so smarter minds have prevailed over there. Now, of course, you're always 2%. Okay, you're always going to get some. Not going to say it, but there's a big difference between 2 and 35. There's also a big difference between 35 and 100, so that tells me that 2/3 of this country isn't completely idiotic as well. All right. The funny part is Japanese Red Cross, okay? You know, we all know Red Cross is worldwide. Red Cross or Red Crescent, okay, if you're in the Middle East. All right. But in the United States, the American Red Cross is still allowing individuals who've had the jab to donate their blood. Now, again, let's think about this. Let's say you go into surgery and they need to give you blood. Guess what? You've now had the jab without consent. All right, so there's a problem. But according to the American Red Cross, vaccinated individuals will either be allowed to donate blood immediately or a short time thereafter, depending on the type of vaccine that they receive. Now get this part. People inoculated with an inactivated or RNA, the mRNA-based jab, will be able to donate their blood immediately. This is what I'm saying, guys, real quick. If something happens to you, you may wind up getting this against your will, because let's say you have to, there was somebody in here who mentioned, in the comments, who mentioned that they were going in for elbow surgery. All right. Now, you cut yourself open. They're going to hook you up to an IV or whatever it is, and you're probably going to have some sort of blood put into you. Now, the first question I would be asking the doctor is, where did that bag of blood come from? Has that person been given the jab? Because if they have, I don't want that bag of blood. And you should. I'm not a medical professional or a lawyer, obviously, okay? But you should be able to ask your doctor to not give you blood that I don't want to use the word I want to use, okay? But, that has foreign material in it that I don't necessarily want put into my body. Let's put it that way, all right? So the Red Cross goes on to say, if vaccinated individuals received a live CV jab, okay, or if they're unsure of what kind of jab they received, okay, that's scary in itself, or if they got vaccinated as part of a clinical trial that is for a vaccine that has not yet been authorized for widespread use in the United States, that would be all of them, okay, they have to wait a mere 2 weeks before giving their blood. Now, just because somebody didn't have any side effects from the jab doesn't mean you won't too. So I'm telling you guys to watch out. Something I never even thought about is the surgical use of this, but yeah, here's something else. But the Japanese are saying no, and the US is saying yes. That's enough to give me pause right there, okay? And I just wanted to put that out to you. So doctors are on the side of the students, and the Japanese are on our side. So that's what I got. Wanted to give you that little heads up this afternoon. Have a good rest of the day, guys. We'll see y'all later. Pinball out.